talking to an agent yesterday afternoon, and she had some clients, and one of them lost her job. But anyway, they couldn't make their payments. Their mortgage payment was, and then she advised them, forbearance. They should look into this stuff. But now, maybe I'm not as clear on this as I think I am. But with forbearance, they're not essentially getting forgiven on their mortgage payment. It's just getting delayed or deferred, or so you're still on the hook for this. And that was the thing. And these people, they said, you know what, we're not going to deal with that. We're going to sell now. And they actually walked away. They pocketed 40 grand on their sale, and they walked away from their home. And I I see people making that decision, rather than it's kind of like loan mods back in the day a little bit, where yeah, we can relieve you of this, but it's going to be added back over here. You're not going to be forgiven this. It's just going to be stalled or delayed or deferred or whatever. But yeah, I had a nice conversation with an agent yesterday who really predicted, by the end of the year, that we were going to see, as long as this COVID goes on and people are losing their jobs, we're going to see a little bit of a come down, maybe some foreclosure stuff. And I am pulling default leads. I shipped some out to an agent yesterday again, and we'll probably see a little bit of short sale stuff, I'm guessing. As much as I hate that word or those two words together, but it is what it is. I think it's kind of the market we're in, and I think we might see a little bit of a come down here by the end of the year. But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many short sales we'll see, simply because the lack of supply is driving prices up, right? I mean, good homes, they're getting bid up, and if the agent's using the new coming soon deal, they're going under contract before it even is actually.
I know.
In most cases. So they may not need to do a short sale, but yeah, it's tough because if they don't know what the future holds and they can only make a decision based on the current information available to them, it may be the shrewd move. Go ahead and sell, take your equity and live to fight another day, keep your credit intact.
Yep.
Use the equity to maybe survive if that's your only means of survival while you're out of work. That's not that bad of a position to be in, considering what we saw back in the 2007, 8, 9.
Right, when you didn't have the equity and you were stuck.
Yeah. So everybody's situation is different, but this situation is different than that. And I think there's a lot of people who can weather it because they've got equity in their homes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't think that's going to be a huge source of equity, or pardon me, of inventory coming back on the market. We'll see some of it, but I don't know if it's going to be a huge amount that will alleviate some of the supply demand issues. I was just reading an article. Builders are like 15% this month. The new build starts, whatever that metric is that they track per, new permits pulled by home builders. It's about 15% less in June this year as of June of last year. So supply and demand's already out of whack. Throw COVID on top of it, so the builders aren't building at the same pace they were last year. Not to mention they really need to be building at a little higher pace. So there's no end in sight right now as far as inventory. Agents need to go out and chase those listings.
Yeah, I don't see builders ramping up production. I think the prudent move, and they all, you know what, you could look in your rearview mirror just 12 years ago and how many builders got stung and how many of them are gone today because of the overbuilding and all the spec homes that sat, and all of a sudden they were stuck and they sold out to each other, and some got bigger like Fulton, and some of them gobbled up other ones and whatever, but I don't see them pushing a big, and the other side of that is finding the labor to build the homes. I mean, that's the other thing. So you're kind of in a rock and a hard place with that. And I just think in talking to agents lately, and it's not just me getting requests. My Gilbert rep is getting requests for default stuff. So it's really, it's a thing that I think agents are starting to look at as a possible way to get more listings. And if they can help people, maybe show them, hey, if you're struggling to make your payments, I mean, yes, forbearance is a real thing, or that Save Our Homes AZ. There's programs you can get into to help you with your mortgage payment. But like we just, you could sell, take that equity and find a place to rent and just hang tight for a little bit. And then, maybe that's the better move. I don't know. It's an interesting time in the market. I've got some cool graphics, to show it. I don't know if you saw on Facebook, I posted the median list prices for Chandler and my system all goes back to it looks like spring of 2007. I can't go back farther than that, but it's crazy to look at when you see all of that together and what that really looks like and how that goes, same with inventory, just kind of boom, right off the table. And it's just interesting to look at these stats in black and white. It's an eye opener.
Yeah. Oh, it's good stuff. In fact, why don't we just kind of do our normal thing here real quick, because we could have our whole 30 minutes on this topic alone.
Oh, heck yeah.
Fringe pieces of it.
We've got a net in here. I was hoping
relevant,
but here we are. Happy Friday.
Yeah, exactly. So real quick, just so you guys are up to speed this week, like I was saying kind of before we kicked off the meeting, rates have kind of stabilized here in this area. Let me show you where we're at right now. Can you guys see that coming up? Yeah? Nod?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So I never know.
You're not muted.
Okay. So look at these rates. This is crazy. 15-year fixed conventional for, again, they're well-qualified borrowers. 2 5/8. I mean, that's crazy. I locked a client this week who wanted to buy it down just a smidgen, 2.5 on a 15-year. 30-year fixed conventional is 3 1/8. Both of those are at par, so you're not paying points to get that. That's the par rate for a well-qualified borrower. 30-year fixed FHA, that's at 2.875. The Govy programs right now are priced kind of funny, and I touch on this every week. It has to do with the CARES Act and forbearance and how those programs are seeing higher forbearance than conventionals. And the way the forbearance works is while the borrower gets forbearance and they don't have to make their payment this month, the servicer still has to pay the investor the payment. So there's premiums being built into the Govies right now for that because they're seeing higher forbearance and default rates. So the 30-year fixed FHA's got a 0.5 point to get that 2.875, and the 30-year VA as well. And then jumbos are pretty much stabilized right in the high 3s. If you go back pre-COVID, you would have seen the jumbo pricing pretty much mirror the 30-year fixed conventionals. But since COVID, they spiked and they've come back down, and right now they're stabilized kind of right there in the high 3s. So that's where we're running on rates. Fingers crossed we continue to stay here, maybe even tick a little bit lower. But if you haven't refied, it's a great time to do it. You save a ton of money. And if you know anybody purchasing, man, their purchasing power is insane right now, what they can buy at these rates. So it's a good time to be in our business. I mean, there's other businesses where maybe it's not as good and they're getting laid off or furloughed, but we had the good fortune 10, 12 years ago of it being our industry that was the one getting clobbered. So it's kind of nice that we're able to push through here and still earn an income. So like to see a little more supply though.
And
So we-
Kirk, I'm just curious, what is the typical percent down people have to do for most of these loans?
Well, on the rates I'm showing here, Camille, these are like 25% down. Not the FHA, the conventional. They're 25% down, where there's a pricing tier. A lot of people don't know this. On a conventional loan, you get a better price if you put 10% down versus 20% down, or 25% down. And the reason being is the riskiest spot for a lender is right at an 80% loan to value, because the loan's no longer insured against default versus 25% down, 30% down, or 40% down. So it's the riskiest spot for them. They would rather have one with 5% down because they're insured.
For interest, right.
Exactly. So these are reflective of someone with, you know, good credit, putting 25% down. You know, somebody who's got a 680 FICO score, who's putting 10% down, they're gonna pay, you know, slightly higher rate, maybe by an eighth or a quarter, something like that. And if you saw on my little graphic there too, we've been running a refinance special for the last 3 months, where our refinances are even lower. We're offsetting those by about another 75 basis points. That's in an effort to not only retain our customers, but actually take customers from some of our competitors. So our refinance rates are smoking low.
So
Yeah.
great.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I want to show you guys a couple graphics I worked up this morning, just to do with the market. And of course, I pulled Chandler because I'm sitting in Chandler. I wanted to kind of show you what I was looking at. I found out a way to do this in my system this week, so I'm very happy about the fact that I actually learned something new this week. On top of that,
Way to go, Shane. Way to learn.
yeah, I know. I'm not too old to learn, see? So there's that. But I wanted to kind of show you this stuff because I found this interesting, and I've been trying to figure out ways that I could get this done and illustrate this in an interesting way. But our system, the system that we use to pull this stuff, only goes back to, yeah, it looks like spring of 2007, which is still a pretty good slice here, but you can see, and don't be this little drop in here. I don't think it's anything actually. I think it's just where they started it. But you can see where median list prices have gone and how they've come right back up. The blue is the 7-day average, which puts the upward or downward pressure on the 90-day average, of course. But you can see how it's bounced way back up. And I know the 7-day average right now for Chandler is when I got it on Monday, it was 5095, which is the highest I've ever seen Chandler as a median list price ever since I've been getting these reports. Or what I want to do is compare this back to, you know, I like to go back into the bubble or into the good times when, you know, 2005 and the boom there. And I got to find a way to get back into there to really see where we're at as far as, you know, how we compare. But here's our inventory by contrast. You can see where that's gone, and don't look at this thing. I think this is just drop-in point for them. So you can see where this is gone and where we're at now. Chandler is at now the lowest I've seen it. I wasn't getting this report back in 2007 or 11 here, so I don't know where this is in comparison, but we're pretty freaking close. So interesting stuff. Can you see this screen too? This one, median days on market, is that up right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I pulled a couple other things here just to kind of look at some other numbers here. And if you want these, I did them on a PDF and I can share them with you. I can email them to you if you want to see them up close and personal. But you know, days on market, I mean, you can see where we're at with that right now too. And again, this is just Chandler, but I think all the cities are kind of mirroring each other right now to a degree. So interesting stuff to look at this, and of course our new listings, which are, you know, bumping down, and they've just kind of been, you know, their butts have been on the ground for a while with new listings in comparison to where we were way back in 2007. You can see where we were up, you know, up a lot higher here. And that, again, just Chandler. I can't pull a Valley report that would echo, show you that. And it would be kind of skewed anyways, I think. So I like pulling just areas. And we could pull them by zip code as well. I mean, to put these together, it doesn't take any time at all, but it's just interesting to look at what's going on out there and how it looks, and where it's trending to. And you can see where the trends are going. I am not a rocket scientist or any kind of a nuclear physicist like somebody else I know, but I can make heads or tails of this. I can see where this is going. But interesting stuff. Again, if you'd like a copy of these things, let me know. I'd be more than happy to provide them. I got them in PDF, or I can probably save it as a JPEG too, so you could probably post that on Facebook. I posted the median list price one in Chandler yesterday just because I learned how to do it and I was proud of myself. And I'm like, I got to put this somewhere so people can see that it's not all just rocks up here. But
you got info to share.
Yeah, actually there's info. So yeah, these are awesome reports. I love being able to share them. But when you see it over years like that, it really, it's very telltale to me. So fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going to see a break as far as that new inventory, right? Where's that coming from? Maybe some people don't want to list their home right now because of COVID, right? Maybe that's driving some of that inventory down. So maybe vaccine or something, people feel a little more comfortable and put their house on the market, need to move up or move down, kind of thing, those type of folks. But I've been thinking about this for years. It's like, where's that inventory coming from? For years. We need more inventory.
So what's going on in the home warranty world, Camille? Anything good?
All
Anything
good
fun?
stuff. All right, can you hear that outside lawnmower, or can you hear me okay?
We can hear you good.
Okay, I relocated because they were outside the other room and now they've switched outside this room. Anyway, so it's interesting because in these times, home warranty actually goes up because more people are afraid of not having enough money to pay for repairs. So when this all happened, there was that worry of, oh no, are people going to stop buying home warranties because they don't have the money? It actually goes the opposite way. So our direct-to-consumer homeowners, they're just off the charts for renewals, already existing homeowners. Obviously, my market depends specifically on real estate, but obviously OneGuard's more than just real estate. So it's actually been very beneficial to our company. We're doing great, which is, so grateful. Just like you were saying, Kirk, we are so fortunate to be in this industry where we're not being laid off. And in fact, if you know anyone good, we are looking for customer care to hire more people. People can make more money on unemployment than working full-time in customer care. So we've had a really tough time getting people who actually want to come and answer phones when we're in such a need because, who doesn't want to get paid for doing nothing, I guess, right?
Certain type of people.
Yes. And it's kind of the, it's the $15 and less an hour that are going to see it that way versus, hey, I want to continue to build my repertoire for another job or whatever it may be. But I'm going to show you, this is a funny, can you see this? Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was so funny. Someone shared it with me. And this is actually a real filter. This is someone's filter on their house. So what do you think in Arizona? How often do you think you should change your filter?
I know this, so I'm not going to participate. I just had to put a new AC system in my house.
Oh, and I'm curious, did they tell you when they came what they recommended?
Mm-hmm.
Once a year.
Yeah. Well,
Not once a year, you're wrong.
and
Once
Pam
every
and
other
I
year.
built our previous house. So, you know, we had to size all the units and work directly with the installers and all that. So we learn maybe more than your average home buyer. But yeah, every 3 months. And you should not be using the pleated. You should be using the ones that look like they don't filter anything, because they don't filter air quality. They are filtering the air that goes to the coil. And you do not want to restrict the airflow to your coil.
You're exactly right. And I'm gonna give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna relocate because I think you can hear can you hear that lawnmower now?
Just a slight
Okay.
buzz in the
Give me
background.
2 seconds to move here.
All right.
Speaking of
That's-
speaking of air filters, furnace filters. So it's
What's a
interesting
furnace?
because- What's that?
What's a furnace?
Yeah, well, there's that. So I'm a big proponent of K&N air filters on my vehicles, on my quad or on my ATV I have up north, and they also make them. They also make air filters for your house. Did not know this, and they're reusable. And you can recharge them with the same oil stuff you use on the ones for your vehicles. And
So
I was
they're high performance house filters.
I'm yes. So I was like, they're a little more expensive, but then again, they're lifetime. All K&N stuff is. So K&N air filters, I was like, for your home. And I'm like, I am going to get some of those because if they do the same stuff, do they give my house more horsepower as they would with
Exactly.
the vehicle? More air intake? Is it?
Yeah.
I'm like, how does that work? I'm sure Camille will be happy with something like that. Those are premium air filters.
Yeah, there's some great products out there. You know, in the summer, Arizonans should be changing their filters every 30 days. Is that what they told you, Kirk? And then
Yeah.
winter, you can do a little more close to 90, but really, if you just change it every 30 days and you put a reminder in your calendar, you'll just get in the habit of doing that, and it makes the system last so much longer. What people, oh, sorry, Shane, were you say something?
My Nest thermostat tells me when I have to change them, and they're like, hey, dumbbell, change the filters.
Oh, that's great.
That's better, more colorful words, but it tells me. I think it's every 30 days or every 3 months. I think once every 3 months it goes off and tells me change air filters, and they don't even look like they're dirty, but I know you got to change them. So
Right. Well,
And that's a whole nother tangent. Nest thermostats.
Yeah.
We'll save that for another call.
People think that they can just quickly change their air filters before we come to do a repair. But the problem is, if someone hasn't been changing their filters, what Kirk was saying, the coils are so dirty.
Yeah.
We know they haven't been changing. So you can't trick us by all of a sudden putting new filters in.
you can't.
No tricks. But people always want to know, why are there so many repairs in Arizona? And of course you think, well, that's because we're all running our system so much and it's so hot. That's
They work harder.
true. But actually, if you we had Carrier come to one of our sales meetings, and they said their AC units are designed to cool the home 30 degrees from the outside temperature. So in every other state, right, they get to 100 degrees and they can keep their home at 72 and they're not exhausting their units. Whereas we're 116 and we're trying to run at 78, 77, some people lower than that. So it turns after you get over 30 degrees, you're actually trying to refrigerate rather than cool. And so that is why our systems cannot last as long as other people. That's why home warranty is so popular in Arizona, because the amount of repairs, we surpass any state in AC repairs and replacements, because simply, yes, it is so hot outside, but it's also the temperature we're keeping our homes. I keep our house around 78. Right now, SRP says everyone should be at 82. If you really wanted to capitalize on your power.
Yeah.
Which is unbearable to me. So what do you keep your houses at?
Going back to the Nest thermostat, I mean, I've got a little leaf thing on there, and I subscribe to the SRP thing, so it'll automatically adjust my heat or my cooling up when there's peak power being drawn, so it won't go down to keep it up higher, which is okay. I'm not home. Do whatever you need to do.
Right. You're not home, but most people are home.
Yeah.
So that's what's been tricky about the temperature. Because, yeah, we'd go to commercial buildings that are really cool. We almost need a sweater. But now we're at home. Our unit, we're keeping it so much lower in the day than I would typically turn it up.
Yeah, my wife's always kept it lower than I prefer. I'd like to keep it at kind of the 77, 78. She's always been more the 74, 73. And you know who wins those arguments? Logic and emotion. Emotion wins. This is where I want it. Yeah, don't get me started on that Nest thermostat and the leaf and all that. You know, I'm still a little skeptical of Big Brother on some of that stuff. And Bezos kind of reminds me of the guy, what's his name? Mike Myers played, you know, $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want Bezos necessarily controlling my house either. But yeah, I haven't opted into the green leaf thing. We turned off all it can program itself stuff, but then it turns itself back on. It's scary, man.
Learning thermostat.
Works like an old thermostat where we set it, and it stays there. And then 3 days later, it's like moved, and you question everybody in the house. Anybody touch this? No. And then you find out, you get a notification. Oh yeah, we decided to do this thing and do this for you because we're smarter than you. So I'm still learning the Nest.
Yeah, I don't have a Nest. I really do like the power of just turning it up and turning it down.
Put it where you want it.
Yeah, at night, my husband tries to go way low. So he wins that one too, actually. But
yeah. Yeah. You do the best you can, you know?
Right.
Sometimes you got to compromise.
The key really to keeping your systems in great shape is getting those tune-ups. And that's why OneGuard offers the tune-ups for the cost of the service fee, because this summer really showed us what happens when you don't have tune-ups, because we do them in end of February, March, and April. COVID hit, no one wanted contractors in their homes, right? So at the beginning of March, end of March, no one was getting, we typically get thousands, and we just didn't have enough people asking for them. So then fast forward now in April, and it got to 113 in the afternoon, if you'll remember, like the end last week of April. And our claims were so high, and part of that was because we would have found things wrong had we, it was simple things like needed Freon, just needed tightening, and had we been able to tune up those homes, it would have decreased the amount of work orders we would have had.
Well, and I've got a question for you since we've got you in this week. And my wife, like I said, reminded me a lot that I didn't follow her advice and get the home warranty before our AC unit went out. What is the process if you are a current homeowner and you do want to put a home warranty? I would assume you send an inspector out to make sure that you guys aren't walking into a mess of claims right out of the gate, right?
We do, and I'm so sorry about my moving. It is just like the landscapers following me around the house. We actually don't do inspections when it's not part of a real estate transaction. So the way that most home warranties rid people from having an AC breakdown and then calling and getting a home warranty because their AC's out is waiting periods. So we have 10 days from when you order it till you're allowed to use it. No one's gonna wait 10 days for AC. No one's gonna wait 10 days with the water heater leaking. So a lot of home warranty companies have a 30-day wait. I actually think we're the least, the 10-day wait. But part of that is just so people, I mean, it's called insurance fraud, right? When something's already broken and then you get coverage for it. But that's a way to mitigate that from happening.
Makes sense.
Home warranty is exciting stuff, guys. It is a sexy product, you know.
It's almost
Yeah,
a sexy.
right up there with title insurance and mortgage.
Yes, I know. I told Shane, title is the only thing more boring than home warranty.
Yeah, you know, right now I guess mortgage is kind of sexy just because rates are so crazy.
Yes.
So, in general, we're pretty boring too. People just, you know, hey, here's my application, close my loan, right? And give me the best rate possible, 0% interest with 0 fees, and you know, can you close it tomorrow? Other than that, you know, nothing too sexy.
I know. So the realtors who really, I guess, have the part of the job that's people like the most, just seeing the listings and the homes, and you know, that's definitely more exciting probably than anything we do.
That's the glamour end of it.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. We ran a little bit over today, but we kind of started a little bit late as well.
We did.
Thanks for coming. It was great to see you, Camille. I know we'll have you back because it's a great conversation that I think is super valuable. Annette, thank you so much for coming. Do you have any questions before we wrap up? Nada? All right. Well, everybody have a great Friday. Thanks for tuning in. And we're going to keep doing these things week in and week out. So feel free to log in and have your morning coffee on Fridays with Shane and I. And we'll see you next week.
You guys are like Regis and Kelly, but it's not Regis and Kelly anymore. Kelly and Ryan or whatever. A little more than you and Shane.
Kelly and who's Ryan?
Hey, Ryan.
Isn't it Ryan Seacrest and Kelly Ripa now?
I think so.
Yeah. They're
You're
both
Regis
pretty.
and Ryan, I guess.
They're both pretty. So
Yeah.
and she may actually be a little more ripped than he is. So
I know.
probably wouldn't be an insult if I was Kelly.
I gotta say, on the Kelly Ripa thing, I'm a little tired of seeing pictures of her husband lounging all over the place because that's all she posts anymore on social media and whatever else. It's like, really, Mark Consuelo's probably a nice guy. Tired of seeing him, gotta say.
Is that her Facebook or Instagram? Where does
It's
she
like
post
everywhere. It's like I keep seeing him on Yahoo. Keeps picking him up. I think she's posting him on Twitter and wherever else. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm proud of my wife too, but you know, it is what it is. I don't know if everyone wants to see her, but apparently she thinks everyone likes Mark Consuelos. Probably a super guy. Probably is, but
that's for her female fans.
I guess so, right? Look what I got.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah, go. She has posted another one of him like lounging by the pool. I saw it the other night. I'm like, it was Yahoo picked it up somehow because I think she put it on Twitter or Instagram or something. And I'm like, yeah, again, probably a super dude, but it's just not my thing.
I think we all could use a little more lounging by the pool. Just it doesn't need to be posted on social media or anything, but just a little more lounging.
Amen.
I know I'm due for that. I'm majorly due for a vacation, but I'm not traveling until they got this creeping cred under wraps. So,
Are you at your office, Kirk, or are you at home?
I'm in my home office. We have had by company mandate, we've had our office closed for the past 4 months, and we were supposed to open. You know, it's like every month. It's like, okay, July 1st, okay, August 1st, okay, September 1st. So I could sneak in, and I have, just to make sure the place hasn't burned down or been burglarized or anything. But no, working from the home office, and yeah.
That's how they told us September 1st, but they just told us last week, January 2021.
You know, and the reality is that's probably, I think they're just going to stop doing this kick the can and say, hey, look, it's for our company, and I'm assuming for your company too. We've been exceptionally, I mean, not just good, we've been exceptionally efficient. We went from 0 to, or, you know, maybe 20% of our employees work from home because loan officers are super flexible. and some of our processing and underwriting staff, but maybe 80% went to the office. We went to 100% working from home in like a 7-day span. Our IT department got everybody hooked up, and we didn't skip a beat, and we were closing record volumes month in and month out. You can do it. This is another discussion we had, not to keep running over, but we've had some really interesting discussions that it fascinates me. What are going to be the long-term ramifications that come out of COVID? One of them, I'm convinced, I do not want to be in the commercial real estate business. I foresee many people not renewing their leases or walking away from leases, realizing, why do I need to be paying 10, 20, 50, $100,000 a month on, Class A, Class B commercial space, when I can ship 80% of my employees back to their home office? I don't have to pay a penny for that other than the IT costs I already pay. And the employees are happy because they're working out of their home office. They don't have to commute. I think that's going to be one of the big shifts, as companies are finally going to realize.
Maybe we don't need to have an office.
Or if we do, it's a small office where it's just, enough for customer service, can walk in, have a couple faces there to meet and greet them. But otherwise, have the bulk of the staff working from home. And I'm all for it, because I tell you what, driving during COVID, it was awesome. You get out on the road.
No one on the road.
No one on the road. And then when they opened things back up, you knew. Because, Pam and I, we have to be out doing our thing. We had an investment home we were working on and the whole bit. So we weren't totally quarantined. As soon as they opened things back up, you could tell the people who had been in quarantine for like 2 months completely forgot how to drive. The turn signals, making turns from the opposite lane. I mean, it was crazy. It's like, you can go back into quarantine and take some driving lessons. It was horrible.
That's funny. I'm going to start noticing that more. You're right. That's absolutely true.
They forgot. They just flat out forgot how to drive. But they've been back at it now for a while. So I think they maybe got back in the swing of it. But no, it's been nice. The freeways are less crowded. The surface streets are less crowded. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of it. Peloton, supposedly they've been selling a fortune for those Peloton bikes. I'm an early adopter, but they're selling those things like hotcakes too. So got to exercise from home and feel like you're getting a gym exercise, I guess.
Yeah, it takes forever. My husband ordered a whole bunch of barbells and a weight bench, probably right when this happened, mid-March, and we didn't get them till the end of May. Because everything's back ordered. Bands, weights, weight benches. I mean, home exercise is a booming market.
Yeah, where commercial real estate's going to be declining. Yeah, the home exercise industry, how can it not, right? I mean, personally, I don't necessarily want to go in the gym and work on the sweaty bench that just left, and supposedly they're cleaning up after everybody, but I've always had a good gym at home, at least probably for the last 20 years, simply because I'm lazy, but I don't like to be lazy. So if I have to get up, get dressed, get in the car, drive there, I'm way less inclined than if I can wake up, grab my morning cup of coffee, splash some water on my face, and walk into the exercise room and spend 30 minutes to 60 minutes and get an exercise. So
yeah, you save 20 minutes not going to the gym.
Yeah, and it reduces the reluctance factor huge for me, where it's like, okay, I can climb in there, get some stretching in and get going, versus the whole ritual of going to the gym. Other people are the opposite. They can't get motivated unless they go to the gym.
Yeah.
So, but me personally, it's not a motivation thing. It's a convenience thing. If you've got some good gym equipment, you are in a business of producing quality gym equipment, I think those companies are going to do quite well. Buy their stock.
Good idea.
Yeah, or don't buy any stock right now. The stock market is way overvalued. It's great. Well, hey guys, I don't know about you folks, but I still have a Friday I got to get going on.
Good chatting with everybody today.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Camille. It's been a long time.
Good
Don't be a
to see you
stranger.
guys.
Yeah, we'll invite you back.
Okay, love that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good day, everyone.
Take care.
Bye
Bye,
now.
Annette. See you, Shane.
See you, bud.
There you go. All right, just you and me, Regis and Kathy Lee.
Why are we ticking down to only one today?
You know, that's a great question.
I will